Did you know that a simple meow can hide secrets that change lives? Sassy, a kitty with bright eyes and graceful movements, seemed like any other house cat. But there was something different about her, something no one noticed. Behind that curious gaze, Sassy hid a unique talent. Finding what was lost, uncovering stories that time had tried to bury. On what seemed like an ordinary night, as the house plunged into silence, Sassy did something unexpected. She climbed to the top of a cabinet, her tail swaying as if something was calling her. Her eyes locked onto a dark spot in the corner of the room, a place no one had paid attention to in years. A faint sound like an echo from the past seemed to guide her. What she was about to uncover wasn't just a forgotten object, but the beginning of a discovery that would completely transform the life of Clara, her owner. Are you ready to find out what Sassy revealed? Stay tuned, because the mystery will surprise you in ways you can't even imagine. That night, as Clara flipped through a book on the sofa, Sassy seemed restless. The little feline paced back and forth, letting out low, persistent meows. Clara thought it was just hunger or a need for attention, but there was something more. Sassy jumped to the top of the living room cabinet, a place Clara rarely looked, as if guided by some invisible instinct. Curious about her cat's behavior, Clara set the book aside and stood up. Looking up, she saw Sassy staring at a specific corner, her tail swaying with determination. Clara thought it was amusing and asked, almost jokingly, "What is it, Sassy? Did you find a ghost?" But Sassy didn't seem interested in the joke. She pushed a cardboard box to the edge of the cabinet. With a swift leap, she jumped down and began pulling the box with her paws. Clara decided to help her and grabbed the dusty box, which seemed untouched for years. Inside, there was a tangle of old papers, faded photos, and small objects that looked like relics from another time. Clara recognized a familiar face in one of the photos. It was her grandfather, sitting in an armchair with a cat on his lap. But what caught her attention was a small black notebook, its cover worn by time. Clara opened the notebook carefully, noticing the pages were filled with neat handwriting. There were notes, lists, and doodles about objects hidden around the house. Each page seemed to point to a specific place, almost like part of a map. "I hid this for whoever has the patience to search," read one of the notes. As Clara read, Sassy remained restless, as if she knew there was more to uncover. The cat ran to the hallway and started scratching the floor near a shelf. Clara, intrigued, followed Sassy. There, under some boxes, she found a golden locket with the inscription, "For the one who loves as much as I loved." The words echoed in Clara's mind. Her grandfather had always been a reserved man, but with a deep affection for his family and animals. This locket seemed to hold more than just sentimental value. She looked at Sassy, who was now rubbing her head against Clara's leg, as if saying, "We're not done yet." Sassy's behavior began to truly intrigue Clara. How could the cat know exactly where to find these things? It was as if the objects had been there all along, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. And Sassy seemed to be the key to it all. In the following days, Clara realized her house had more secrets than she ever imagined. Sassy guided her to places she never explored. Behind an old vase, Clara found a key. Under a loose board on the bedroom floor, there was a piece of paper with a drawing of a chest and an inscription. What matters is not what's inside, but the journey to get there. Each discovery made Clara feel more connected to her family's past. She began to see her home with new eyes, as if every corner held a story waiting to be told. And in all these discoveries, Sassy was there, like a tireless guide. Clara started to recall moments from her childhood, when her grandfather would tell stories about the treasures he had hidden around the house. At the time, she thought they were just stories to entertain her. But now, with every new find, she realized he had been serious. One night, as Clara reviewed the notebook on the sofa, Sassy approached with a calmer, yet still determined demeanor. The cat jumped into Clara's lap and stared intently at the notebook, as if pointing to something. Clara flipped through the pages again and noticed a detail she had missed before, a small drawing of a garden with a marking next to a tree. She looked at Sassy and smiled. "I think I know where we're going tomorrow." The cat purred in response, as if agreeing. But Clara knew it wouldn't be just any dig. That tree, that mark, could be the final piece to unravel everything her grandfather wanted her to know. And Sassy, as always, would be her faithful companion on this quest for answers. It's turning into a really cool story, isn't it? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Don't worry, stay with me because the story is still going on and there's lots of exciting stuff coming up. The next morning, Clara woke up early, eager to continue the search. She knew that the garden of the house, where she had always played as a child, could be the next point in her mysterious journey. Sassy was by her side, still full of energy, as if she knew something important was about to happen. Clara put on a comfortable blouse and slipped on her boots, ready to explore every inch of that space that, for so long, seemed like an ordinary place, but now revealed itself to be full of secrets. The garden was vast and a little overgrown, with bushes and trees that had grown out of control over the years. But Clara was not intimidated. The notebook was in her hands, and Sassy seemed to have a deep connection to it, as if the cat was ahead of it all, guiding Clara in the right direction. The drawing in the notebook showed an old and leafy tree, with roots intertwining in the soil in a strange way. It was exactly this tree that Clara had in mind. "Let's go, Sassy," Clara said, with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She knew she wasn't just looking for a material treasure, but for something deeper. Her grandfather had always been mysterious, and now she was starting to understand that his secrets were part of a bigger story. As she approached the tree, Clara was surprised by the clarity of the drawing in the notebook. There it was, the old tree, with a thick, branching trunk. But what caught her attention the most was the marking in the drawing, exactly at the point where the trunk divided. The base of the tree seemed strangely flat, as if it had been carefully cut. "Has anyone looked here before?" Clara thought, without having a clear answer. But something deep in her mind told her that this was the right place. Sassy, with her always intriguing behavior, took a few steps forward and crouched by the tree. Clara watched, feeling as though the cat was doing more than just marking her presence. It was as if Sassy was trying to communicate something. When Clara bent down to see what the cat was doing, she noticed a small crack in the ground, almost imperceptible. She touched the surrounding soil, feeling its smoothness, until her hands found something hard. A metal lid. Clara's breath stopped for a moment. She carefully pushed the soil away, and soon saw the lid of a small compartment, almost buried. Whatever it was, it had been there for a long time, waiting to be discovered. Clara grabbed a garden spade that was nearby and began to dig more firmly, with the help of Sassy, who watched her closely, as if she knew exactly what to do. Finally, after a few minutes of work, the lid of the compartment came loose, revealing an aged wooden box, with corners worn by time. Clara carefully pulled it out, feeling her adrenaline rise. The box was light, but the value of her discovery felt immense. She looked at Sassy, who was now by her side, as if waiting for her to open the box. With a slow movement, Clara opened the lid, revealing a contents that seemed like a secret kept for generations. Inside the box was a collection of old and precious objects. A silver pocket watch, a pair of earrings with precious stones, and a letter yellowed by time. Clara carefully removed the letter, which was folded to preserve its words. She read it aloud, with growing emotion. "For my dear Clara, with love, from your grandfather, who always hoped you would be more than just a spectator of your own life. These treasures are not just material, but symbols of courage and curiosity. May you never lose the shine of your curiosity, just as Sassy never lost hers." Clara felt a wave of emotions as she read her grandfather's words. She had never known how much he believed in her, or how deeply he understood her own quest for something more in life. Her grandfather knew that she, like Sassy, was an explorer, someone who sought to understand the world around her, always with curious eyes and a thirst for answers. Sassy, as always, stayed by her side, as if she knew her mission had been accomplished. Clara smiled, gently petting her head. The adventure that had begun simply now seemed to hold much greater meaning. She was not just discovering material treasures, she was uncovering pieces of her own history, the story her grandfather had left for her. As the sun began to set, Clara felt a sense of peace. She was no longer alone in this discovery. Sassy, with her deep and mysterious gaze, had shown the way, And now she understood that the true treasure was not in the things she found, but in the journey of self-discovery and the deep connection she had formed with her family's past. Clara felt a sense of incompleteness, as if the mystery wasn't fully resolved. Her grandfather had known she was curious, but all of this seemed bigger than just material treasures. The pocket watch, the earrings, even the letter filled with wisdom. Everything seemed to be there for a purpose. But one question still lingered. Sassy, as if sensing her unease, rubbed her head gently against Clara's leg, as if urging her to move forward, as if the real treasure was right there, within her reach. Clara looked at the box again. Something was missing, a piece of the puzzle that she couldn't quite place. She flipped the letter over, and to her surprise there was a barely visible inscription, in tiny golden letters, almost too small to read at first glance. The key is where the eyes cannot see. She read those words several times but couldn't understand what they meant. Where was this key? She looked around, feeling the air closing in around her. The box didn't seem to have anything else inside, and the words made no sense. But then, something in her mind clicked. The key wasn't a physical object. It was something within herself, an understanding she had yet to reach. Her grandfather's message seemed to suggest that the true value wasn't in the things she had found, but in what she needed to discover within herself. Sassy, always so intuitive, suddenly leapt onto the tree. Clara looked at the spot where the cat was now perched on one of the highest branches, as if pointing to something. What did she want to show? Clara carefully climbed up the tree, her feet moving cautiously until she reached the branch where Sassy was. The cat was still, her eyes fixed on something hidden in the high branches. Clara followed her gaze and saw something glimmering among the leaves. It was a small golden locket hanging from a fine chain hidden among the branches. With a swift movement, Clara grabbed the locket, and the sense of completeness she had been searching for finally washed over her. It was the perfect symbol, the missing link between the past and the future. The locket had the same shape as the pocket watch, and when Clara held it in her hand, a wave of emotion filled her heart. This was the real key. The key to understanding not only her grandfather's legacy, but the very essence of what he wanted her to know. That the true discovery lay in the courage to go beyond the obvious, to never give up on the clues the world leaves for us. Sassy jumped back down to the ground as if saying, "Now you know." Clara, with the locket in her hands, felt a familiar warmth fill her chest. Everything made sense. She wasn't just solving a mystery from the past, she was finally connecting with the story of her own life. She smiled, hugging Sassy, and in that moment, she knew that nothing in life is truly lost. It just takes patience and the courage to follow the clues, no matter how mysterious they may seem. Hey, are you enjoying this story? That's so cool. Let's keep going. But before we do, I noticed you haven't left a like on this video yet. It's really important because that way, YouTube will keep showing you our cute kitten stories. And with that, we'll keep bringing you more exciting stories. So, don't forget to leave your like, okay? Thanks. Clara descended from the tree with Sassy by her side, the locket still firmly in her hand. Each step she took seemed lighter, as if the weight of the mystery had finally been resolved. She looked at the house, now with a new perspective. It wasn't just a home, it was a place full of stories and secrets, waiting to be unraveled by someone willing to seek. With the locket in her hands, Clara felt as though she had completed something much bigger than just finding a lost treasure. The real gift was in the realization that life is full of clues, of small moments and details that, when observed carefully, can teach us more about who we are. Her grandfather had always known that Clara was special, and with that final gift, he made it clear how much she had inside her, the courage to keep seeking, never giving up. Sassy, as always, was by her side, following her with a watchful gaze, as if knowing she was ready for the next mysteries of life. After all, with an open heart and the desire to explore the world, anything is possible. And Clara knew that, as long as she had Sassy by her side, no discovery would ever be too small. The real magic was in continuing the adventure of life with curious eyes and an open mind. She smiled, tucking the locket into her pocket and gazing at the horizon, with Sassy purring happily beside her. The adventure had no end, it was just beginning. And you, what did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments which part you liked the most and why. We're excited to hear your thoughts. If you liked this story, don't forget to leave a like and tell everyone. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing adventures of our cute little cats. Comment below and tell me what you think. Your opinion is really important to us. Come join our group of cat lovers and help spread smiles and cuteness around.